Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking lawnmowers. How do you change the blades and sharpen the blades on a zero-turn lawnmower? That's what we're going to be doing today. Once again, we need to take the safety precautions. So we need to make sure we have all of our tools available. This is something that can be done with most homeowner tools that you already have. You need a pair of safety glasses. You're going to need a wrench to take off the blades. And you're going to need a scraper tool to scrape out the underside of your deck. Now, you could take this to your dealer, and the dealer will do it. The dealer is going to charge you anywhere from probably $65 to $100 an hour, with an average somewhere around in most areas about 75 bucks an hour to work on your lawnmower. And a lot of times, they're going to charge you maybe about 45 minutes to an hour of labor just to do this. So you can take it to your dealer. Your dealer can do it for 75 bucks, or you can do it right at home and you can do it for free. There are three ways to sharpen your blade. You can use a bench grinder, you can use an angle grinder, or you can actually take it to any kind of mower shop or local hardware store, and they can usually sharpen your blades with the average blade sharpening about $10 a blade. Most zero turns have 3 blades, so that's 30 bucks just to sharpen your blades. And it's probably about $75 to $100 to take it to your shop and let them do the whole thing. So you can save money by doing it yourself, and it's not hard to do. So let's jump right into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect our spark plugs. Most zero turns have 2 spark plugs. You can see I have one right here, and there's one on the other side. And all you do is you take your fingers on the back side like that, and you pull it off. And that's for safety, just to make sure we don't start the engine as it's rolling. So we want to disconnect both your spark plugs on the zero turn mower. You want to disconnect your fuel shutoff valve. Not all zero turns are going to have this, but if you have it, you want to disconnect it. Mine's right there, and all you do is you just turn the valve, and that shuts off the fuel. Once again, another safety precaution. Just don't forget to turn your fuel valve back on and put your spark plugs back in at the end of the job, or you'll be wondering why your lawnmower didn't start. Just make sure that you check your owner's manual for any other safety precautions before you do this. It's not a very hard job, so let's jump into this. So now that we have the spark plugs disconnected and the fuel shutoff valve, now we need to figure out how we're going to lift the mower up. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. Zero turns are pretty heavy. Some people have some kind of a winch system that's built to the rafters of their garage. They can lift the mower up that way. Other people just pull up a zero turn up onto their trailer and just angle it. And what I use here, I've been using this for probably 10 years. This is one of the earlier models of this tractor lift. This is made by Ohio Steel, it looks like. I think it costs maybe 150 bucks. I know you can buy these things for anywhere from about 150 bucks to $300, depending on how much heavy duty you want. And this will work for your residential mowers up to your entry level commercial. Once you go to the full line heavy commercial with the 72-inch decks, like the Exmark Laser Z 60 and 72-inch decks, those are 1,200-pound mowers, and this thing might be too much for something like that to handle. But for most homeowners or most people, it just has an entry-level commercial mower that weighs under maybe 800 pounds or so. This little mower jack thing will work perfectly. So let me demonstrate how this thing works. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you buy one. So all we're going to do here is position this mower jack underneath the frame of the engine, and I'm going to tilt it back. So I've got it on the frame. I've got it on the frame right there. And now I take the handles, put my foot on this bar right here, and we pull it back. And as you can see, now we have the lawnmower lifted up. All right, so now I'm underneath the deck. As you can see, the deck's a little bit dirty. It lifts it up enough to where I can get an impact wrench in there. And if you don't have an impact wrench, you simply just use a wrench and maybe you take a board and secure this blade so that it doesn't move when you do this. But I have an impact wrench. Impact wrench I'm using today is a DeWalt impact wrench. And like I said, any zero turn is the same thing. You just simply take it. It's one bolt. I'm going to hold the blade. You can wear gloves if you want to. I'm holding it where the blade is not sharp, and you simply unscrew the blade, and the blade is off. And once you get the blade off, make sure you scrape underneath the deck with your scrape off tool. And now we're going to go and we're going to sharpen the blade. So I got my safety glasses on. You can sharpen the blades by taking it to a dealer and paying an average of $10 per blade, which is $30 for a zero turn. Because there's three blades, you could use a bench grinder or you can use a grinding wheel. Now I found the heavier, dutier the blade, this tool isn't as effective, and you should probably use a bench grinder. But just to show you how a bench grinder works, let me turn the other direction. You just simply run the bench grinder about 3 or 4 times per side. Make sure you do it equally and at the same angle as the blade. So this is how you do it. And then you want to turn to the other side and do the same thing. And you want to do that until you get a nice sharp point on the blade. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these up here, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that we got the blade removed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little putty knife here, and I'm just going to scrape off some of the grass underneath the deck. This isn't built up too bad, but you should always do this. And just remember, anytime you do anything with a lawnmower, please check your owner's manual. Try to be as safe as possible. Wear safety glasses when you're sharpening blades or doing anything with the blades. It's just will make your life earlier. You don't need the safety precautions until you need them, if that makes any sense. People get hurt all the time doing this kind of stuff. So, like I said, please make sure you use extreme safety doing all this stuff. Don't take safety for granted. Scrape off the deck the best you can with the putty knife. It doesn't have to be perfect, just to loosen it up. This helps reduce some of the moisture content underneath the deck, because grass tends to hold a lot of moisture, which can start rusting your deck out a lot faster than normal. So we're just trying to get some of that grass off to prevent rust. And the buildup also can help saves the life a little bit of your spindles here. If it gets all caked up, it just has to work harder and it can overheat. So we're just trying to reduce the wear and tear on the spindle and make sure that the deck doesn't rust out prematurely. So once you've scraped out the deck, you want to get your nut with your washer again. And you want to make sure you put on the blade properly. So we're going to put that through the hole. And we're just going to start screwing it on by hand, just enough to get it started. And you want to make sure you put the blades on properly. So what that means is the angle of the blade, this angle right here, should be towards the deck. The flat part should be flat towards the ground. So this is what it should look like. The flat part is on towards the ground, and the angled part is angled this direction. So the angle goes this direction, and the angled part is up, and the flat part of the blade is completely flat, goes down. If you install the blade incorrectly, it just won't cut the lawn as well. So you want to make sure you install it back the way it is for optimal cutting. So we're going to put it back on. I'm going to use my impact wrench here, and there we go. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching my channel today. I just want to go over some of the safety precautions today. You want to make sure you wear safety glasses. You want to make sure you disconnect your spark plugs. You want to make sure you shut off your fuel shutoff valve if you have one. Not all zero turns have one. And you want to safely raise your deck of your mower. You could use that by actually putting one tire on the ground, your front tire on the trailer of the gate, of a trailer gate if you have a trailer. That will give you the angle required to get underneath. You could use some kind of a hoist system if you have a garage with a hoist system built in. Or you could use like a mower jack or some kind of a lift designed for a mower. Those are all the different ways. You want to use the safest way that you can. Make sure that whatever method you do use, you use some kind of stable jacks. You put some jacks underneath to stabilize it just in case it does fall. I know I didn't show that in the video, but I did use some jacks to secure the mower on the front end of the mower. So you want to make sure you want to use jacks for stability. Make sure that mower doesn't fall on you. I'll put a link in the description below for all the tools I've used today. Please look at your operator's manual as well for any other safety tips they might have. But removing your blades and sharpening them really isn't that difficult. If you send this off to a mower shop to do, they're going to charge you $100 to sharpen your blades because it takes time to do this. So if you can remove the blades yourself and then give it to a mower shop to do it for $10 a blade, it's 30 bucks. That's probably the optimal way to do this. If you have a bench grinder or some kind of angle grinder where you can do it yourself, then you can save the $30 altogether. It just takes a little bit of time. And the next question a lot of people have is how often should you sharpen your lawnmower blades? And that really depends on where you live. If you live more in the United States, in the northern part of the United States, you might be able to get away with sharpening them about every 50 hours or so. If you're down in the southern part of the United States where you have more sandy soil, the sandy soil will actually tear through the blades a lot faster. So you might have to sharpen your blades every 5 to 10 hours. So it really depends on where you live in the country on how often you have to sharpen your blades. So if you're a commercial lawn operator, that means if you have to sharpen them every 10 hours, you might have to sharpen them every single day. If you are in the northern part of the United States, you might have to sharpen them every 30 to 50 hours, which means you might have to sharpen them every week. If you're a homeowner and it's 30 to 50 hours, you might only have to sharpen your blades once every year. So it really depends on where you live and how often and what type of mowing you're doing with your lawnmower. Depends on how often you have to sharpen them. Just look at your grass. If you see a nice clean cut on a blade of grass, you know your lawnmowers are sharp. But if you start seeing the blades of grass like it's ripped, like it's rigged, it's real rigid on the blade, that means it's time to sharpen your blades. And it's an easy do-it-yourself project. You can do at home if you have the right tools. If not, at least save some money and remove the blades yourself if you can. So the tips I'm giving you today can be done on any lawnmower, from a push mower to a tractor to a zero-turn mower. Today I'm just using a zero-turn mower as a reference. Thanks for watching my channel. If you like the channel content, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Thanks again.